After what I think it's fair to say has been a turbulent week for both sides, West Ham welcome, well maybe not welcome, Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool to the London Stadium in Saturday's infamous 12:30 kickoff that we all know a certain Jurgen Klopp loves. Now look, I was stood in the away end last Sunday at Selhurst Park as the West Ham fans sang "We Want Moyes Out," and now, well, not a very good evening across Stanley Park for Liverpool last night as they were defeated by 2-0 to the noisy neighbours, Everton. I hope you are well. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. The match preview for West Ham versus Liverpool. Can West Ham end the Reds' title hopes, or have they already ended? Paul is a Liverpool fan. He's here to dissect the game with me. Paul, how are you?
I'm well, Jake, and lovely to be back. I see in here things are going very well on your channel, so congratulations for that.
Very good. Thank you very much for joining me. So, I mean, there's only one place to start, and that was last night. I watched the game in its entirety, and I think Everton did exactly what they needed to do, and Liverpool just didn't quite have a response to it, I thought.
No, it was a little bit like going back to the days, maybe a couple of decades ago, the Dogs of War, as they used to be called. But yeah, I mean, Liverpool have been poor. They have been poor for a while. They were poor against Palace. They were poor against United. To be honest, no disrespect to those teams, but Everton, Crystal Palace, Man United, they are three of the worst teams in the league. And if you're not beating those teams, and certainly not competed, didn't look like he was competing physically last night, you end up with exactly what you deserve, and they got what they deserved. I mean, all of a sudden, no strikers are scoring. No strikers look like they're in form, where it's Nunez, Salah. I mean, Diaz hit the post. Probably early on in the season they go, and I see a stat they've hit the post 5 times more to Woodward than any other team in the league. But guess what? Those shots on target, they don't count, and that's it. So traditional thing to say at the start of the season, after last season, you take a trophy in Champions League. That was their target. But where they were a few months ago, it's a little bit sad, isn't it? A little bit of a sad end, because then, without doubt, they're not going to win the league. And and it's sort of petering out a little bit, which is a little, it's not a good finish. And at the weekend, the game is probably more important for you, because you've still got this hope of your mind, haven't you?
Well, just about clinging on to it, yeah, just about. But no, I mean, I was talking to a few people at school today, and went from the Jurgen Klopp announcing his leaving to the quadruple being a legible sort of outcome, to then, I mean, a lot of people I've heard say it all started to go wrong at Old Trafford when that whole FA Cup bizarreness happened in those final 20 or so minutes, and it just hasn't quite been right since. I noticed yesterday it's just 2-0 down at Goodison Park, and Klopp he looked out of ideas. Liverpool looked out of ideas, and I just wonder whether he's probably made the right decision. And he seems tired, Klopp, and that team just looked a bit bemused. And you mentioned, I thought Nunez was really poor yesterday. I thought Salah was up there as well, and just seems like it needs a bit of rejuvenation for me.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, the way he manages a football team, so hands-on. Well, all managers are hands-on, but the way he seems to take, some managers take over the whole club, a little bit like Mourinho maybe, or certain managers in the past, like a Brian Clough from decades gone. He just takes on so much, and what he's achieved there, because people forget what he took over. I mean, the team he took over they finished the season before with a +4 goal difference. The only 2 quality players, top players, there was Coutinho wanted to leave, Sturridge was always injured, Suarez had already gone, Sterling had gone, Gerrard had retired. So he took over a very, very, very average team, and he's achieved, to go toe-to-toe with Man City in 3 leagues, losing it by 1 on 2 occasions, 97 points, and you don't win the league. He will go down, whether fans of other clubs appreciate what he's done, but at Liverpool, he's certainly going to go down as a legend. And of course, things will be changing. Whether the players, what happens when a manager goes, whether there's going to be maybe 1 or 2 players go at the same time. I think this might be the right time for Salah to go. People talking about Diaz and Nunez as well. They're not going to get rid of them all. We can't, mind you, he did that with a midfield. He replaced the whole midfield just about in the summer. But I think Salah goes, maybe. I think he'll go because they will get 130 million for a player of that age because they will, because that's the market, to go into Saudi Arabia, so wherever we'll see. But yeah, they looked out of it. It looks like if that was the last game of the season, that would have been just fine. Well, you don't want the last game of the season to lose to your neighbours, in your final match for a manager. But yeah, it's a horrible end. But then again, that's football, and if you don't win your football matches and you don't get enough points, you're not going to win anything.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Let's take some comments. Who's joining us? Sharky, Terry, I hope you are keeping well. Robert as well. Yeah, I mean, it was interesting. Look, for once we didn't play midweek, and we've got that edge in terms of not having to play. And look, I think we've struggled again this year to adapt with a small squad to the Thursday Sunday, which you've dropped down into this season, of course. And yeah, I mean, Klopp mentioned today West Ham will be rubbing their hands looking at how we played, and I mean, what I'd say to that is obviously Klopp hasn't done his homework on the Hammers yet, because we haven't been fantastic at all. I always like to ask opposition fans, what have you made of West Ham from the outside looking in? So obviously there's been a bit of frustration from the fans that has not been understood by the vast majority of the media. What have you made of West Ham from the outside?
Probably what you never would. I be right in saying you don't really know what you're going to get at the moment for the whole season. It is one of those games, like for example, away to West Ham. If Liverpool were say a point clear, away to West Ham on Saturday, that would be one of those games where you're thinking, this is not. This is just one of those games because it was, a couple of years ago when Liverpool was on a great run. It was the West Ham game, when they lost there, I think 3-2, and I mean. You still got a chance of Europe, mind. You still have a chance. Where you sat in the league, I don't know. I don't think this is a good league. I don't think the Champions League is a good Champions League. I don't think the Euros. I don't think you've got a standout European team at the moment. Have I got this completely wrong? But is football going through a little bit of a lull with top hens? Am I just seeing this wrong? But say at every level, say you're international football, Champions League, or in the Premier League, I'm not seeing any superstar teams at the moment. But yeah, West Ham, I think, and then I'll put the question back to you: would you be happy at the start of the season where you are now, Jake? You would, wouldn't you? Or maybe not.
Well, I would. I would be happy with where I am now, but the frustration of them now. Look, you mentioned probably the lack of quality, not lack of quality, that's a bit harsh, but the less quality that we've seen in the Premier League this season. In years gone by, we'd be 11th or 12th. How on earth we've maintained that position with some of our games has been absolutely beyond me, because we have been the definition of a mid-table side this season, and we've still, with 4 games to go, got a glimmer of hope of Europe. Yeah, we've got to hope Chelsea mess things up, which isn't massively out of the realms of possibility, and we've got to hope things go our way as well. But look, it's just been a drag this season. It's been a real drag, and I do hope, which is the expectation, that Moyes departs at the end of the season and we can have a fresh slate and start again, because it has got tiresome. And I can tell you right now, look, it's not just because it's Liverpool, because we'll go to Sheffield United and do exactly the same thing. Is we'll park 10 men behind the ball and try and get you on the counter attack with Kudus and Bone on the wings. That'll be the game plan. And don't just think that's because it's Liverpool. We did that at Sheffield United. That's been the frustration, because of the quality players we've got there. Paqueta's down tools in the last few weeks, which has been frustrating. And it's just been, it's been not nice. And obviously losing, being 4-0 down inside 35 minutes away at Palace isn't somewhere you want to be. Losing 5-0 away at Fulham isn't something you want to do. It's I mean, if I were you, of course you've got to be wary of your opponents, but I wouldn't be too wary. If you turn up and you play half decent, you beat us. That's the bottom line. Yeah,
that's the thing. I mean, it's all about putting the ball in the net. You probably heard that once or twice before. I think I saw the stat, and this season when they played at home to United, they had 34 shots and ended up 0-0. Last season they played them, they had 18 shots and won 7-0. Now that says absolutely everything about Liverpool at the moment. Nunes is not scoring, Salah's not scoring, unless it's from the penalty spot. He said the player coming back, Jota, he comes back second game, he scores, then he's out for a couple of weeks. Because realistically, Jota is there. I mean, Salah's got all the stats, and generally he's out there with, competing for the Golden Boot. But there's something about Jota. Those games this season, they had many chances against Man City at home. I think United at home, United away. Jota's been missing on all those games, and you just feel that. But then again, it's all very easy to say, "Oh yeah, that player wasn't there. They would have won if he was there." Because if Jota played and Salah was missing, so if only Salah was there, you know what I mean? It's the way it is. But I think it could be anything. Liverpool could score 5, or they can score none. They just need a. I can't say they've been a bit unlucky. There's been 1 or 2 occasions when the balls, it hasn't fell for them, but they got exactly what they deserve. So they're not sort of trying to butter that up. But if it falls, they go 2-0 up, then all of a sudden maybe there might be some proper football. And Szoboszlai gets on the ball, McAllister, all of a sudden there's no goals also coming from midfield, because the transition from last season when there's literally no goals. I mean, when you think Milner went, Keita went, Oxlade-Chamberlain gone, Fabinho, Henderson, 5 players from midfield. Thiago's has, I think, 20 minutes against Arsenal. Bajcetic, he's played a couple of minutes in the cup game. So Liverpool have actually 7 midfielders. If you class Oxlade-Chamberlain as a midfielder, they have changed the seat. That's all in one position of the pitch. That's a lot to change, and now they've upgraded that to more goals. But guess what? They're not scoring either. So. I mean, it could be one of those games. Liverpool could have 38 shots on Saturday, Jake, and they end up losing 1-0 to a deflected 25-yard shot that dribbles under Alisson. You never know. And that's the sort of thing it's going. But that does make it sound a little bit like I'm saying, we're getting no luck. And I'm certainly not saying that, because what they've got lately is what they deserve.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think just Liverpool are reaching a crossroads this summer where the manager market isn't at all glamorous at the moment, and I think this probably doesn't come at a fantastic time for Liverpool, because the options just simply aren't there. If you're looking at big names, you aren't going to find them out there this summer. So look, the way Liverpool go this next season is going to be intriguing, no doubt. But I think I don't know how on about the Everton game, but I think not many sides, and Palace did it. Not many sides in the last few years have gone and done a job on Liverpool. It's just yeah. And it's just sort of that sort of midfield tenacity, the bit of sort of like Wimbledon of back in the day of going and being proper. And they made it into a derby, they made it nasty, and Liverpool sort of sat back and went, "Oh, I'm not really fancying this." And I didn't think Trent or Robertson were particularly good, and they both got subbed off, I think, with 10 minutes to go. And I mean, the clip has done the rounds on social media of the defending from Trent for the second goal from the corner. It's just, there's holes that have been exposed in the last few weeks that teams haven't done in a couple of years, I think. Yeah,
possibly. I don't know when a new manager, if and who, when and whoever the manager is, what he decides for Trent, and does he decide that he is a midfield? He has to play because he is so good on the ball. But whether this sort of the hybrid role, as they call it, right back into midfield, whether he go for that. But he has to play somewhere because he's so good. But maybe, I don't know, Conor Bradley has been fantastic. Obviously, he's now out. That's it. They would have won the game if they had Conor. This thing about, when the player's injured. Then. I think he could, whoever the manager, he might start it right back. I mean, if it is the Dutch manager, if he takes over, I mean, it's a pressing sort of side, it's the same sort of setup. It's how Liverpool play, but having a new manager, would he say, right, Conor Bradley, you are right back, and Trent, you move into midfield, a little bit like maybe Southgate might do in the Euros, possibly. Say, I think Salah a go, but it's what, there's going to be some changes, but it just seems that. I didn't expect this then. I'm not saying I expect them to win 4 trophies, but I did expect them to win another trophy after they won the World Cup. Yeah. Well, I thought, if I was a better man, I would have said, they win 1 more. But 4's, it's a lot. But
it sort of just seemed inevitable that they win another one. When he announced he was going to leave, and they went on a bit of a run, I said they'll win the league. It's inevitable. I said they'll win it. Klopp fairy tale, he'll go, they'll win the league, and it's just petered out at the end, which we discussed before we came on air. It's interesting. Let's take some comments. Sharky, David Moyes celebrates his 61st birthday. He does. Happy birthday. Has anyone mentioned that Klopp's leaving? I don't know, because no sort of media coverage has picked it up or anything.
I think I've heard.
Yeah,
he is.
Oh, he is. Oh, that is the exclusive right there, because nobody's really mentioned it. No one, no sort of commentator mentions it before the game or during the game when Liverpool are on.
Final season.
Exactly.
I know tickets are going for a few pounds for the last game of the season against Wolves.
Wolves.
Not as much as they were competing for the league, of course.
Very true. Very true.
So your last game of the season is against Man City. So if there's something like that, you want them to win the league before that game, don't you?
Exactly. Yeah, we'll be there, and we might see him lift the title. To be fair, in this scenario now, I hope we see him lift the title, because we can't see Arsenal winning it for obvious reasons.
No, we don't want Arsenal winning it. If they had one player injured this season at all, Arsenal?
For Arsenal, I know they are lucky. They're lucky gits, aren't they?
But hey, look, that's just life. That's it. You can't. But every time first 11.
Exactly.
I just that when Liverpool played last week against Fulham, that was their 51st successive game that they put a starting 11 on the pitch that had never played before together.
Flipping hell.
That had never started a football match before. 51st time. Not just 51st time, that they play, but a different one every. Yeah, it's just astonishing stuff. Anyway, that's football. That's how it is. I was speaking to Terry Butcher, the England legend, the other day, and we were just talking about injuries. What are players? And they were competing for leagues with 14 players. Do you know how many teams are using more of that on day one of the season, middle of August?
We've got 14 players. That's why we've ran out of steam at the end, because we literally used 14 players. We've gone back in time.
Yeah, it looks like Liverpool's been using 14 or 6. That's another thing. That's the odd thing we're saying about Liverpool. Oh, they said we've got players coming back because they've done superbly well when the youngsters come in. This is fantastic. There's 4 or 5 things, and of course they were involved heavily in extra time in the Carabao Cup final. And so then the superstars come back, and then it's all gone wrong.
It's all gone wrong, hasn't it? So really, you should put the kids back in, shouldn't they?
Yeah, bring them back in, and they do have some fantastic, some fantastic youngsters. There's 1 or 2, and again, the new manager, if that is him, very keen on using the youth players. So whoever does take over, they have got there's some wonderful players there and some wonderful youngsters there. So they're going to have. They'd be like a kid in a sweet shop, as they say.
William, thanks for joining us. Hope you are well. We've got a super. We haven't got super David Moyes, that's for sure. There's nothing super about David Moyes. We've got super glue, super glue, but not super David Moyes. Bowen Lawrence, thanks for joining us. Andy, as well. Your man from Feyenoord seems to be getting all the press via the. Is that Arne Slot, or is there another man? I don't know.
It is. I think if you look at what those people who give money to, and they give you some back if you give the right prediction, whatever they're called, those sort of people online and in shops, they are pretty convinced. But then again, they were convinced it was Alonso. They were convinced it was a Sporting Lisbon manager. But I think I'm looking on Sky Sports News, and yes, it seems like he's very keen. And like I said, with other top teams looking for managers, Are you surprised? Are you surprised Alonso didn't go there?
Do you know what? I thought it seemed nailed on, and to be fair, it seemed nailed on for the Europa League final for Leverkusen versus Liverpool. They went on the other side of the draw. Pubs are like, there we go, it's all going to happen, and it just hasn't. And then he sort of went, no, I'm staying here, and it's just something Liverpool probably weren't expecting. They were like, oh, well, that was our plan. Now we need to try and manoeuvre something else here.
They're the best team in Europe, aren't they? I think by Leverkusen, they're possibly the best team. You keep saying, that there's this Champions League final. I mean, this isn't a wonderful Real Madrid. Isn't a wonderful Bayern Munich. It's not. I don't know. It just seems like a lack of. I tell you how poor it is at the moment. I think even England's got a chance of winning a trophy in the summer. Now that shows how bad it is.
Exactly. The Premier League is not that good this season. It hasn't been.
It's not.
I think that's fair to say. Liverpool look less likely to win the title now. It could well be the Gooners don't say that. We can't have Declan.
Liverpool not winning. They've got some tough games. Man City will, because they're out of the they're out of the Champions League. The FA Cup comes at the end of that, because that was another thing when the draw was made. It was fantastic for Liverpool. Atalanta, and then the winners, play possibly Benfica, Marseille. Oh, this is wonderful. And Real Madrid have got Man City, Bayern Munich, got Arsenal. They're going to be beating the hell out of each other, or Liverpool just cruise on through. That didn't happen.
It didn't, did it? It all went wrong. Moyes has taken us to the heights we never dreamed of, but lows we never wanted. I'd off my cap to him personally, so do I. But we can also acknowledge the change that is needed. JC, you need a haircut and a Hunter's chicken slice. I've had a haircut tonight. Look, I don't have a lot of front.
I had mine done.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Noticeable. I've had my haircut. It's done tonight. Thank you. And a Hunter's chicken slice is needed. Man City away. I will be devouring a Hunter's chicken slice, Terry. You just know it. Right, let's take some more of your comments. I don't see us getting a good result on Saturday. It's a surprise. Look, if we get anything, I said we've got 4 games left. We've got Liverpool, Chelsea, Luton, Man City. We've got the Luton game, which we should win. We've got the Chelsea game, which we are targeting to win.
Everyone beats Chelsea.
Oh, yeah, exactly. What was it, Gary Neville called them? The blue £1 billion bottle job. So that was the moment of the season, that was. But yeah, look, I mean, anything against Liverpool and City in these 2 games is a bonus. I don't like the term free hit, but I'm going to use it. If we get anything, I'll be chuffed. I will not be, I just don't want to get embarrassed, because we got embarrassed at Selhurst Park last weekend. And if we play like we did last weekend, then we will get our backsides handed straight back to us, because a poor Liverpool side will beat us comfortably, because a poor Palace side beat us comfortably. So, look, I just hope that we can pick the levels up. We've had a week's rest compared to we're only playing Thursday, Sunday, all the rest of it, which we haven't had this week. We've had a week's rest. Hopefully, Bowen back involved after the 6 injections he had in his leg to get him into the Leverkusen game, and then he missed the game last weekend at Palace. So Bowen back in there gives, of course, an exponential boost to the side, and just hopefully, I mean, Bowen, is he a man, if you let go Salah and all the rest of it, not that I want that to happen, is he a man that you could expect Liverpool sniffing around again this summer or not?
No, I don't think so.
Good.
No, I don't. I mean, when you get these, the player leaves, obviously then a manager comes in, they can have their own ideas. Hopefully they find a gem from the Dutch league. He knows the Dutch league. I think they won the league last season. Won the cup to this, if he is the manager. But the trouble is, when you got, say, £130 million in the pot, well, they got more than that, because of course they had over 100 million for the clown who went to Chelsea. Sorry, no, I should have said that. The gentleman who went to Chelsea rather than who came from Brighton, and that was a disaster of a move, wasn't it? But of course they ended up signing a player who was like £90 million less. So there's a few pounds in the bank and that, but of course clubs will know that. And good strikers, they're not easy. They're not easy to come by. And of course, how do you replace Salah? Because I know he hasn't been the Mohamed Salah we've known in the last few weeks, but he still scores goals, and he's just going through. I mean, is that Salah? Have we seen the best of him? Probably, because of his age now. But if he goes abroad, they're going to make them get all that money back on shirt sales and whatever. But no, I don't think it will be Bowen. They're going to find a little, I don't know, somebody like a Van Persie or like maybe a Van Basten or something from the Dutch league. The young Van Basten. Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah.
Gem is what you're implying. Terry says the players are on the beach already, which I unfortunately think they are. Europe next season is out of our own hands. It is. Look, because if Chelsea win their games in hand, they go above us and all of a sudden win 9th. So look, we need things to go our way, of course, but it's not over until it's over, is it? We'll see. We will see. Klopp is leaving. Who knew? Well, next will be telling me James Ward-Prowse needs one more free kick to equal Beckham's record, and we thought he had it at Wolves, but he scored direct from a corner, which doesn't count as a free kick, even though it is.
I didn't realise that. So he's won away, is he?
He's been one away since he joined West Ham last summer. Yeah.
Yeah. How has he been? Would you say? Has he been everything you expected? Or you expect a little bit more?
He's been neat and tidy. Is what he's been. He's done okay in midfield. He's not ripped up any trees. Listen, I wasn't a huge fan of the signing. I like his set pieces, as we all would. He doesn't offer a hell of a lot more. He actually offers, and you'll probably notice this if he plays on Saturday. He offers pretty similar to what Suchek does in midfield, and the two players do very similar things. They don't do a hell of a lot. They pass the ball 5 or 10 yards quite nicely. They protect the ball, but he isn't groundbreaking. He hasn't done anything sensational. He's copped a lot of criticism this season. He works hard, but he doesn't have the impact that we probably all want. And
who has been your player of the season?
Oh, that's a difficult one. I mean, there's been Kudus has been brilliant, and Paqueta at times has been brilliant, and Bowen, of course. But if you talk about importance, Alvarez in midfield is the glue that brings it all together. You know, we needed to find a Rice replacement, and we have done in Edson Alvarez from Ajax. He's been brilliant, and when you take him out, we look all at sea, if we're totally honest. So Alvarez for me has been because when you take him out, we've looked dreadful, and he just sits in front of that back four. Sometimes comes into midfield a little bit more, but he's done the Declan Rice role, which is what we all were concerned that we were going to miss, and we haven't missed too much of because of Alvarez in there. So Alvarez has been more important, but Kudus has been better on the eye. He's been brilliant. An absolute steal of a player coming in. This is quite funny. Wazim says there seems to be more talk about possible new managers in the result of this game, and that I've sensed that all from sort of social media because, I mean, yes, of course, this game's important, but I think both clubs are looking ahead. I think that's fair to say. Both clubs are looking ahead to next season now, especially for you lot after last night.
I think so. I mean, I think there's Klopp may well just say okay, because he knows I don't think the top four is actually mathematically safe, but you know he might just say, hey, we're going to give one or two of these more youngsters a chance, really, because they've been great this season, and there's no better way than you can't really say there's nothing on it, really, because imagine if, I mean, it's not going to happen. Arsenal, Man City just fall apart. It's not going to happen. And then Liverpool, we've been playing a weakened side, would you say, and they're dropping points. You can't do that. But so it's not, like you say, a free hit, but it might be one or two surprises at the weekend. Or does he say, right, you lot, this shambles you produced on on Wednesday, it's your opportunity to
right the wrongs,
make amends. Yeah,
exactly. Possibly. Yeah. Just to divert the subject, on the second half of my screen, Nathan Aspinall just took a 5-2 lead on Luke Humphries, throwing for the match.
He's my man. He's best player in the world, world's #1. He holds 4 major titles. He's appearing in Froome in July. 400 tickets sold already, and he's 5-2 down.
Yeah, but come on, Nathan Aspinall, that's my man. I'm telling you, man.
Is he? Yeah. The things about Nathan, I think he does a great. I think in his own words, he probably knows he's not the best player in the world and probably never will be. But he wins darts matches, he wins tournaments because he has the heart of the lion.
He does.
Fair play to him. Fair play to him.
Oh, I love him. No, he's got that grit that gets him through. Averaging 106 against the world champion.
It's great. So when we said, "No, I can't be the best player in the world," when you have 106, you can do what you want. Yeah, class act he is.
I did see Luke Littler was booed because he went 2-0 in front of a Liverpool crowd. He went 2-0 when he walked on the stage. Fair play to him. Fair play to him, I say.
Yeah. Let's hope he gets beat tonight. No, he's class act again.
Yeah, yes.
Another great player. Superstar.
Alvarez or Areola for Player Hammer of the Year in terms of most important player of the season. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. James Ward-Prowse passes sideways more than Noble without the bite. In fairness to him, though, he's been misused. He has been misused, but he's a player that's had a ceiling, and he always has done. And you know, I've always expected that, and he just hasn't hit the heights that some people have been expecting. But look, it is what it is, and Nathan Aspinall's one. Get in there.
Yeah.
A prediction, Paul. What are you going for, mate?
Yeah, I'm going to. I can't go against Liverpool, even though we know how ordinary they've been lately. I'm going to go 3-1. You will score because Liverpool just can't seem to keep a clean sheet. So the same result as what they got at the weekend at Fulham. Probably go 1-0 down because that's what happens. Liverpool go 1-0 down. Statistically, this season, that's what happens a lot. But I'm going to go for 3-1. And all of a sudden, those shots which are hitting posts and things are going in, or bounce coming off the post and hitting the goalkeeper on the back of the head and going in. Makes me sound like I'm bitter. I'm not, because, like I said for the 10th time, they got what they deserve. So, yeah, 3-1 there, Jake.
Yeah, I think that's a logical prediction. If I'm honest, obviously I'm not going to go 3-1 Liverpool. I do hope a replica of what we did. You know, you mentioned it earlier when we beat you when we were in our prime a couple of years ago at the London Stadium, 3-2 win it was that day, and I'm hoping for something similar. There's no way we're going to keep a clean sheet. We can't keep a clean sheet against anyone. So no wonder Liverpool. So I'm going to go 3-2. Desmond wouldn't surprise me, if I'm totally honest. 2-2, 3-2 is what I'm feeling optimistic. A Liverpool win with West Ham scoring is probably the most logical option, if I'm totally honest. But you know, I don't do
I agree with that. Actually,
we'll see. We will see. So, some final thoughts, Paul, out of this game, and looking forward for the Scousers.
Yeah, so they've got to. I mean, I don't know if any of your viewers who are watching know, but it is Klopp leaves at the end of this season.
Really? Do you know?
Yeah,
is that an exclusive for me? I don't know. I haven't heard that.
I shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah.
But you got it out of me. And they just got to perform better. You know, they have to. And of course, a new manager is going to be watching, and whatever happens. But let's just finish the season on a high. And it's not going to happen. Arsenal, Man City just lose and then lose. It's not happening. There's less than 1% chance of it, but you just want to see your team perform and show some hunger, because they have got the class, but they haven't showed it lately. 3-1 on Sunday. You mark my words.
Saturday.
Even 3-1 on Saturday. But I was on about Sunday's game. I'm saying it's yes, 12:30 on Saturday.
I just love that kickoff time. It means I got to get up not early, because I mean getting up at 10 o'clock isn't early, but it means I've got to get up in a decent amount of time for this one. I'll join you on Saturday morning for a build-up show, probably with a bacon sandwich in one hand and a microphone in the other, right here. So I'll be here 11:30, 11:15 for the build-up show, getting that team lineup and final thoughts ahead of the game. But until then, let's take some of your final comments. Realistic as always is our Terry Newsham. West Ham 0, Liverpool 4.
Oh, wow.
West Ham 1, Liverpool 3. I think that reflects the fan base's downbeatness after last weekend. I think a couple of Desmonds coming in 2-2. I think that's probably fair. Hit the like button on the way out, people, as well. Salah's form has fell off a cliff lately. What, Klopp off? Really? Off? Where's he going? Leaving? Who knew that? Who knew that? Hammers due a win. We are. I would prefer it to come at Chelsea away, because that would be really sweet. No one's expecting us to win on Saturday, so that's when West Ham just pop up and perform. But yeah, if I stick a win against either Liverpool or Chelsea, I'd take it at Chelsea, because you know everyone wants to beat Chelsea, don't they?
Yeah, of course they do.
Exactly. Paul, pleasure as always. Thank you very much indeed for joining me. I'd say good luck for the rest of the season, but you're not going to need it, because it makes no difference, does it?
It doesn't really.
Thanks, Paul. I will speak to you very soon. And thanks, everybody, for watching. Drop a like on the video and subscribe to West Ham Official if you're new to the next one. Come on, your irons. And we'll see you soon right here on West Ham Official. Was the chant "you lost the league at Goodison Park," Paul? Was that it? Or
it's already happened before. It happened at Tottenham when it was robbed. Diaz's goal. That's
when it happened. No,
I'm glad they're not going to lose the league by 1 point. That would be evil. Now,
could you call, honestly, the uproar for that? Thank you very much. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.